On tonight's Wales at 6, the awards nominee, used to capturing others' big moments, who claims she was left out of pocket by an events company who failed to hold a ceremony.
There's been events that have been cancelled, they've asked for refunds, they're being ignored. Lots of people are hundreds, if not thousands of pounds out of pocket.
Also on the programme, the stark numbers relying on food banks to feed their families. A job is no longer enough to prevent poverty. Plus, a tribute to a giant of football. Sol Bamba is immortalised in the city where he became a hero to many. And cockles, anyone? We take a look behind the scenes at Wales's largest indoor market. Hello, good evening to you. For many of us, being recognised in our line of work means a great deal, and awards nights are a chance to celebrate career achievements. But a special ITV Wales investigation has revealed that several industry awards arranged in Wales are not what they seem. We've heard from people who've been left hundreds of pounds out of pocket after events they've been invited to have been postponed or even cancelled last minute. And despite months spent chasing up the organisers, a business called Creative Oceanic, they still haven't received a refund. Our Consumer Affairs reporter Kate Lewis has been lifting the lid on the company, shattering the hopes of hard-working people.
Photography is both a passion and a profession for Katrina. At the end of last year, she was nominated for Photographer of the Year in the Welsh Wedding Awards, organised by Creative Oceanic. She spent £96 on a ticket, but just 2 days before the event was due to take place, she was notified that it was no longer happening.
I had an email to say, really sorry, but we're going to postpone the event from feedback from the finalists. They've all said it's too close to Valentine's Day, so we're going to move it.
A new date was set for May, but May came and went and no award ceremony took place. Instead, in August, the winners were announced on Facebook. Alex tells a similar story. She spent over £300 on tickets for the same awards after being nominated for Wedding Boutique of the Year. She's been trying to get a refund since February.
There's not a number that you can ring them on that they'll answer. They blocked me from their Facebook page. Via emails to all the email addresses that I could find, and nobody responds.
I've put all these claims to Creative Oceanic, who say they acknowledge concerns raised by ticket holders and that the circumstances that led to the changes were challenging, and apologise for the inconvenience and frustration caused. But it's not just the Welsh Wedding Awards run by Creative Oceanic which people have an issue with. Kelly has lost over £500 after the award ceremony she was a finalist in were postponed on 3 separate occasions. The awards finally went ahead on the 8th of December, bang in the middle of a busy Christmas period for Kelly and her team, and so they couldn't attend. She notified the company and was told she'd have a refund 90 days after the event took place in December. We're now in September. Have you received any refund?
No, nothing. And I can't get a response. I've sent emails, I've tried calling, various numbers that I've found. Just nothing. I'm not getting any response at all. Nothing.
I also put these allegations to Creative Oceanic, who say the awards were only delayed once, with 2 more dates provided before a final date was voted for. They also say they have a new hotline number set up to ensure a more reliable and accessible line of communication. So whilst we were with Katrina, she decided to give this new number a try.
Welcome to the EE voicemail. I'm sorry, but the person you've called is not available.
So it seems the wait for any answers for businesses left out of pocket like Katrina's goes on.
Well, those people were frustrated at missing out on events, but Kate is outside her hotel in Cardiff tonight where one of the company's events is taking place as planned. Kate, despite the rain all going ahead there, but as we've heard, not always the case.
No, that's right. But yes, tonight here at the Parkgate Hotel just across the road from me,
the Welsh Retail and Hospitality Awards are taking place. Now, we've already started to see people arriving in their finery. And, you know, these are big awards. Hundreds of Welsh businesses in more than 30 different categories have made it onto the shortlist. And the company behind them, well, they're no stranger to big awards, claiming on their social media that they host over 120 awards in 20 different cities every year. But the pressure is mounting on Creative Oceanic as more and more people are coming forward and telling us of the way they've been let down and left significantly out of pocket. So what is the advice? Well, the advice is if you haven't managed to get a refund despite trying, then you must contact Action Fraud to report it. Also, going forward, make sure you book things like this with a credit card because it does have an added layer of protection.
Kate in Cardiff this evening with that advice. Thank you. And if you're one of those people who have lost out on money, or if you've got a different story that you also want to share with Kate, you can email her at consumer.wales@itv.com. Next tonight, nearly a third of people in Wales who are directed to food banks are earning a wage. The charity who carried out this latest research says it shows that paid employment is no longer enough to protect people from slipping into poverty. More than 500,000 people in Wales face hunger, according to the Trussell Trust, as our correspondent Carol Green reports.
Hi. Hi, Naveen. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. You all right?
I'm very good, thanks. How was your shift last night?
Yeah, it was good. Not too bad, actually.
Cara Naveen is picking up some free groceries from Food Share in Llangollen. She's just finished a 12-hour night shift. Her husband works full-time too, in a food factory.
The costs are too high, and then we have to pay council tax, gas, electricity, lots of these things. Still, we can't manage.
New research from the Trussell Trust found deepening levels of hunger and hardship. Going without or reducing portion size or relying on a food bank is now the norm for many people and communities.
Seen single mums working several jobs, and the children are suffering because mum has to go out to work and they're still struggling. We've got families like Naveen where both parents are working and they're still struggling because the rent is extortionate and the bills. We're probably over 50% of people who are working who come to us.
Linda is a full-time student and is one of 130 people locally who rely on this food share. She says people can feel stigmatised, but it's her safety net.
It is tough. Everything is going up and up and up all the time, and it's coming here is really helpful because it can give you some of the basics that you need to be able to then have some of the nicer bits, if you will, or to divert money towards heating bills, because that's just going up all the time.
Picking apples?
Anti-poverty campaigners say incomes failing to keep up with price rises is driving more households into crisis.
So most urgently, we want to see an increase to universal credit. We want to see an axing of the cruel two-child limit cap. And we want to see an increase in support for housing costs.
Well, we could do lots of different things, but we can only do it if it's funded, and we will not be making decisions that are unfunded. That's for other political parties. We're serious about making sure that the economy gets back to a stronger position.
Meanwhile, the Welsh Government says they've invested more than £7 billion in the last 4 years to support households with financial pressures. With more and more people turning to food banks, breaking the cycle is more important than ever. Carol Green, ITV News, Llangollen.
The Prince of Wales was in Cardiff today to visit a new mental health hub. The Jack Lewis Foundation was created in memory of the former Swansea City Academy player who took his own life in 2019 and will provide a place to support others in need of help. Well, Mike Griffiths is outside the Principality Stadium for us where the hub's been set up. Mike, men's mental health is an area which Prince William is keen to highlight.
That's right, every royal visit and those that we cover all have an importance of their own to deserving and important causes, but this one today, a particular resonance. Jack Lewis died just over 6 years ago now, and his friends and family in their tremendous grief were keen that something positive would come from that. The result, the Jack Lewis Foundation, that's now been up and running for several years, helping out of bases in Ammanford and in Swansea so far, thousands of people, conversations about mental health, practical day-to-day advice as well. The latest here at the Principality Stadium is what Prince William saw for himself coming into action today. He began his visit talking to some big names, to Wales captain Jack Morgan, to Steve Tandy, the Wales coach as well, talking about how sport itself is almost a universal language which can help people open up. Places like this too being places that people may feel more comfortable visiting as opposed to others, and his friends were in attendance and told us the difference it would make.
With something such horrendous happening and with something positive coming out of it, it does give you some sort of source of comfort for that, and with a foundation there it gives you sort of confidence really, because Jack had his issues and there was many chats before with Jack, and we didn't really, there's only a certain level you can take the chat to. At least now there's a foundation that gives you confidence then, and we've helped many people in the community.
Well, Jack's friends, family, very keen to share their very happy, positive memories of him. They miss him tremendously. They know today's visit and the continuing work that his foundation will do will help, hopefully, a great many more people.
Mike, thank you, reporting on Prince William's visit today. And if you've been affected by any of the issues discussed there, you can get help and support at itv.com/helplines. Well, still to come on the programme for you this evening, Matt is live for us in the capital too, with a fitting tribute to a much-loved footballer.
Yeah, Sol Bambo was a giant of a footballer for Cardiff City, and now he stands on the side of one of the buildings in our nation's capital. I'll be joined by a very special guest shortly.
And from one city to another, meeting the traders. We're at Swansea's thriving indoor market, loved by its millions of customers. But before all of that, it's been 2 years since a damning Senedd report revealed that women's cancer fears are often being dismissed, downplayed and unheard. But in that time, very little progress has been made, says a charity that works with women with gynecological cancers. They warn that people like Claire O'Shea, who died from cancer of the uterus in May, are still at risk. Well, in the week she would have turned 43, our health reporter Katie Fenton has spoken to her brother about the need to carry on Claire's legacy.
She was always an inspiration, and she always set the bar very high for me. So, yeah, I always inspired to be like her.
Ben always looked up to his big sister. Less than 4 months since losing her, and the reality is still sinking in.
It's still hard to believe some days, I still wait for a text from her or a phone call or expect to hear from her, and I know it's not going to happen, but there's those days where you forget what's happened.
Claire faced delays and misdiagnoses at every turn. By the time doctors told her she had cancer, it was incurable.
My name's Claire O'Shea. I was diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago.
Claire used her final months lobbying for change. But the charity she worked with says that change has stalled under the Welsh Government, with most of a Senedd inquiry's recommendations still not met nearly 2 years on. Its boss and keen runner Judy is taking on the Tokyo Marathon to raise funds for Claire's campaign.
Claire had an enormous impact on me personally. When she died earlier this year, I really wanted to do something in her memory and to make sure that I was raising money for her campaign. We still know that there are a lot of women out there who are still feeling that their voices are unheard. We used the term back then when the inquiry was first heard, medical gaslighting. So this sort of idea that women feel that they're not being taken seriously and they're being made even to question their own judgment about their own bodies.
The Welsh Government has recognised that more needs to be done, but says waiting times and performance have improved. A follow-up inquiry is expected to scrutinise that in the coming weeks. As the O'Shea family navigates life without Claire, Ben's goal is to keep his sister's legacy alive.
I was there with Claire, you know, she's my sister, so I have to fight on for her and kind of spread the message and get it out there and try to help make some changes. That's all I want to do, is just kind of make sure that no one has to go through the same thing as Claire did.
Because behind every delay and misdiagnosis is a family like this suffering the cost. Katie Fenton, ITV News.
An emotional interview there with Claire's brother. Well, Katie's here now. Is it still a bleak picture for women's health?
It does seem that way for many, Andrea. Judy, in my report there, told me that 10 of us is still being contacted by too many women who feel their voices are being ignored. And that's just one charity. And if you look at the data, that paints a pretty bleak picture too. In June, fewer than half of patients with gynecological cancers started treatment on time. Now, that was an improvement on the month before, but it's still far short of the Welsh Government's target. And waiting times vary massively depending on where in Wales you live. Now, we know the NHS is under enormous strain. It has a huge backlog of many conditions to deal with. But as we've seen with the O'Shea family, delaying cancer treatment can have the most devastating of consequences. So there's real frustration that so many of the recommendations designed to improve things seemingly haven't been delivered. Now, Claire is not here anymore to be able to drive that change, but her family, Ben, they are determined to carry on the work that she started. And with this follow-up inquiry still to come, the pressure certainly isn't dying down.
A campaign that will keep on going. Katie, thank you. Now, a giant mural of former Cardiff City player Sol Bamba has been officially unveiled in the capital today. The Frenchman, who died at the age of 39 last year, made more than 100 appearances for the Bluebirds across 5 years and left a lasting impact on the team's fan base. Well, Matt Southcombe is in Grangetown alongside that mural this evening. A fitting tribute, Matt, to a larger-than-life character. Good evening to you.
Yes, absolutely, Andrea. If you look up fan favourite, you'll see a picture of Sol Bamba smiling back at you. His club career took him from Scotland to Turkey to England, but it was at Cardiff City where he spent more time than anywhere else in his career and played more games. Played every game in that season that Cardiff earned promotion back to the Premier League, and I'm delighted to be joined now by Sol's wife, Chloe. Chloe, thanks for joining us this evening. The mural behind us, when you see it, how does it make you feel?
I mean, it's just perfect, isn't it? If anybody had the pleasure of meeting Sol, you knew that he was larger than life. So to see him memorialised on a 3-storey building is just, it's magic.
Absolutely, yeah. And what did this club and this city mean to Sol? He became such a fan favourite here.
Cardiff was so special to Sol, not just because of the football, but because of the people here and the community here. So to see him honoured in this way, it's really, it's amazing for me and my family. We feel speechless about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can already see some fans as well stopping by, taking pictures. It's only been unveiled today. You can see the impact that Sol left here as well.
Absolutely. I'm actually on the hunt for a really big ladder so I can go up there and give him a kiss.
Oh, absolutely. And just lastly, how do you think Sol would feel if he was here today? I mean, it's such an incredible mural.
Well, Sol would pretend to be very modest and he would say that he absolutely doesn't deserve any of this. But then when you get him at home and he shuts the door, he would be absolutely buzzing. He'd do a little dance and he'd be really pleased with it.
Absolutely. Well, Chloe, thank you very much for joining us. Maybe we can find you a ladder as well. But Andrea, Sol Bamba wasn't from Cardiff. He wasn't even Welsh, but he will always be fondly remembered in these parts.
Matt and Chloe, thanks very much. And you're off to find that ladder, as you say. It's coming up to 20 minutes past 6 now. Plenty more for you ahead with us and with Mary at 6:30.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, Poland's Prime Minister says his country is at its closest to open conflict since World War II, after Russian drones were shot down over Poland. European leaders have condemned the incident and NATO says it's ready to act. Here, Jaguar Land Rover confirms data was breached. We have the latest on that cyber attack. And 30 years of the National Television Awards, but who could win big this year? Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Mary with you shortly. But first, a major renovation is underway at Wales's oldest university. The aptly named Old College at Aberystwyth University first welcomed students back in 1872. More than 150 years later, is being transformed into a new cultural centre. And there to see how that project is getting underway is our West Wales reporter, Lewis Rhys-Jones. Good evening to you. How's it looking?
Hello there, Andrea. Noswaith dda I chi. Yes, you said it there. The Old College, a Grade 1 listed building, may be famous for being the birthplace of the University of Wales, but its history does fetch back far further. The current building works got underway in June 2023, but the vision behind it all has been years in the making. An iconic landmark of Aberystwyth's promenade, the Old College sits on a site originally developed over 2 centuries ago. And there's been plenty of change in that time. Now it's undergoing a huge regeneration to make it fit for the 21st century.
It's a very ambitious project, and the university were in a position where most of the departments had moved up to the hill, and what were they going to use with this building? It's a Grade 1 listed building. It was first constructed in the 1860s, and so we're looking how we can bring it into modern day use. And what we're planning to do is to bring some hospitality elements into it, which is a 4-star hotel, a restaurant and a cafe and bars, and those then will pay for the cultural and heritage aspects and the galleries and the exhibitions, which will make it a big attraction in Aberystwyth.
You really do feel on top of the world, but exposed to the elements here somewhat. But it is fascinating to learn that there's 93 kilometres worth of poles to make up the scaffolding along the building. And the builders had the very big job of placing 70,000 slate tiles on top of the roof. So it's incredible to think how much work there is to get done before deadline day. Construction workers on the project are working tirelessly to adapt the building while respecting its rich heritage and history.
There is an existing roof underneath that, which we were able to leave undisturbed whilst building this new element. Logistically, as I said, it's a project in itself, this roof, and it's certainly pushed us to the end of our wits, but we're proud of what we've been able to achieve here and protect one of the most important parts of the building, which is the quadrangle below it. I'd like to think that the entire team are proud of what they've achieved here, but after being here for 3 years, I don't think my interest has kind of wavered at all in this project. I feel as if I'm part of the history of it.
And much attention to detail goes into restoring original features.
It's not a quick job, it's very time consuming and labour intensive, but it's getting a fine balance between restoration and conservation. And that's the key to this sort of work, and being sympathetic to the building with obviously the proper materials involved. This is without doubt one of the finest buildings I've worked on over 40 years. So yeah, and obviously it's in Wales, my hometown. So I'm a Cardiff boy, I've come up, so this is fantastic for me, to be honest.
The team here never quite knew what they might unearth once renovations got underway.
This piece of wood was actually found right here in the Salcedon unit. It reads John Williams, 8 Market Street, Aberystwyth, February 1888. And so this would have been left here during the remedial work following the big fire in 1885, likely by Mr. John Williams, who we know was the college carpenter. And we've now found this 150 years later as part of the stories we've discovered while doing the work on the building.
While the Old College is steeped in history, there's as much excitement building over its bright future. You might not have noticed in the feature, but there are in fact 5 separate buildings based on the site, and the idea behind the renovation is to better connect them, with an atrium being constructed alongside lifts to make it fully accessible and fit for the future. And there are a lot of backers that have belief in this project as well, with the UK and Welsh governments as well as the National Lottery putting money into the project. They believe that they could attract 200,000 visitors to Aberystwyth and generate £14.5 million. So if it's a success story, well, I'm sure it will be in future.
A remarkable restoration. Lewis, thank you very much. Now, they are treasured institutions in many towns and cities across the country and often draw locals and tourists alike. Yes, our historic indoor markets are havens with stalls offering food, fashion and knickknacks you never knew you needed, as our Swansea correspondent Dean Thomas Welch has been finding out.
Swansea Market, the city in microcosm, attracting over 4 million customers each year. It's one of the UK's biggest and best. And at its heart are over 100 traders.
Hi, I'm Tinalvelli Srikanth. I'm a retired doctor. I've started a small business in the Swansea Market.
For many stall owners, working in Swansea Market is a dream realised.
But this is not just an ordinary market, it's an iconic ancient market, one of the largest markets in the UK. This is just like a very big family. All are so good, very affectionate.
And just like any family, the traders take the rough with the smooth.
Well, it's not crime watch this time, I'm safe. Robert John Williams and the marketplace. Do I either got what it takes to be a market trader or not? Yeah, you've got to have a bit of humour about you.
Swansea Market, like all retailers, is facing challenges, but this unique shopping experience keeps people coming back.
A lot of our customers are older and shopping habits have changed. We've also got challenges like online shopping, out-of-town retail parks. So it's constantly trying to keep the market fresh. We do a lot of events in here, a lot of performances, choirs, or we have a monthly vegan market, for example.
The marketplace unit was destroyed in the Second World War.
Swansea Market is more than a way of life. It's their whole life.
Yeah, I still come in a few mornings, got to be done. With the market, it's very much my home, you know, because that's where I brought up my children and my grandchildren, where I was from my great-grandparents, my grandparents. 5 generations on the cockles.
You are always guaranteed to find colourful characters at the market, aren't you? Let's take a look at how the weather is shaping up now. Do we need to be indoors at that market? A much more autumnal feel. Here's James Wright.
Today sees sunshine, sand and a spell of bamboo rafting. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Hi there, good evening. It's been a bit soggy today, some showery rain pushing across the country. We're going to see more of that over the next few days. Rather unsettled. When it's not raining, there will be showers, quite a lot of them, and feeling a touch cooler. That cooler air tucked in behind these fronts that are with us at the moment, drifting its way down from Greenland pretty much, but it is over a fairly warm ocean, and that's why we're picking up all the showers. Plenty of those around. The weekend, though, looking distinctly soggy and a little bit on the windy side too. We've got to keep an eye on that. We say goodbye to the heavy showers that were with us earlier. Then we're back to plenty of clear spells. The showers are going to continue even though we've lost any daytime heating, and like I said, it's because of the time of year. And temperature-wise, by the end of the night, looking at lows of just into single digits, significantly milder around the coast where, of course, the sea is pretty mild at this time of year. Through tomorrow then, bright if not sunny spells, lots of showers, quite a rash of them across the country, some of them quite heavy in nature. Looks as though we could see 1 or 2 sharp showers that won't linger too long. There's enough of a breeze to push them through. But if you do get caught in one, you'll certainly know about it. And like I say, we're starting to import some slightly cooler air. So we're looking at highs of around 15 to 17 Celsius. Add in the breeze, add in the showers. It's going to feel fresher than it has done. Thursday into Friday, kind of rinse and repeat. We continue to see the showers pushing through overnight and then they perk up again as we head into the afternoon. If we're lucky, we'll start to see a degree extra in temperatures. Same again on Saturday.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Thanks to James. A little bit of shower dodging in order, I think. That's it from all of us on the Wales at 6 team tonight. We'll have another update after the news at 10 with Liam McConkey. For now, have a great evening. Bye.